Hi folks, this is your MWIS fleeting view for the Easter weekend. The chart for Good Friday is quite a complicated one and it will stay fairly uncertain throughout the weekend. We've got an area of low pressure that's circulating just to the south of Ireland and giving a glancing blow really to most western fringes of Scotland and northern England, with a front which is trying to push northwards, giving some rain across Galloway and pushing around Arran and some mountains just on the mainland nearby here as well in the southwestern Highlands, but amounting to very little elsewhere than that. Just some high cloud, might give a few spots locally across the Highlands a bit further north and east, but most places escaping dry through the daytime. Some banks of low cloud across southeastern facing hills, especially in the morning, will tend to lift and break with time. A strengthening easterly wind across the Highlands. The wind will be strong all day though across northern England, southern Scotland and Wales, here particularly seeing gales across the mountains for a good part of the daytime and reaching gale force on western Lakeland fells as well, at least through the afternoon. A few spits and spots across northern England, some rain on and off for Wales, most persistent in more southern regions, but it will tend to push northwards across Wales through the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we'll start off just below freezing across higher tops in Scotland, tending to lift a degree or so above, even to higher summits. Feeling cold though, we're exposed to that brisk wind. The ongoing story into the early hours of Saturday sees windy conditions, gales across the mountains pretty widely from central southern parts of the Highlands southwards, and that will stay windy into Saturday morning as well. Some areas of rain across Wales, bits and pieces just nudging across northern England, not amounting to a great deal. Patchy drizzly rain across the Lake District first thing. Some patchy rain too around the west coast of Scotland, and that front, the remnants of it, will be just making a nuisance of itself near the west coast for a part of the daytime at least, tending to push away westwards into the Atlantic, leaving much of the Highlands dry, but just with that rather keen easterly wind. Some patchy rain lingering across Wales, perhaps the South Pennines, tending just to fade out to leave just an odd drizzly shower onwards into the afternoon. Some variable cloud where you do see some rain, could just cling to the hills for a while. Away from any areas of rain, cloud should lift and break towards or above some higher tops, and the wind tending to ease for most places, but could just remain rather gusty as easterlies across Scotland. As you can see from this chart, that rain is still hanging around near to Skye even later in the day. Just watch your local detail on the forecast for the west coast of Scotland. Taking the story onwards into Easter Sunday, and still that same weather feature is nearby across the west coast, and that will just need watching for the detail once more in case we're still seeing some nuisance value rain and drizzle across the west coast and some areas of cloud up the west coast around Skye, and still some rather gusty winds there at least early in the day. For most though, Easter Sunday is looking a promising picture, with pressure fairly high, neither particularly high or low really, but giving a reasonably settled day with some variable patchy cloud lifting and breaking above most hills, and the wind relatively light for many places, and temperatures lifting through the daytime to become fairly pleasant. Chance of an isolated shower by the afternoon, mainly across Wales, perhaps the South Pennines, but many places looking promising for a dry picture through much of the daytime. The story is quite complicated through into Monday, with shallow low pressure just trying to rotate around toward the south of England, and that could just develop into a few areas of showers, or perhaps locally something a bit more organised. The forecast confidence gets really low by this time. The greatest risk of showers across England and Wales, possibly some areas of rain and showers pushing further northwards too, so keep an eye on the forecast. Monday is not set in stone for detail yet, but with fairly light winds, if you do see some rain, then we could just see it hanging around for a while. If you can avoid that, then you'll stay drier for longer through the day. Some variable cloud and some breaks with some sun occasionally. So shallow low pressure and fairly light winds will take us into the early part of next week. Still some showers in the forecast. Exact detail in terms of who gets what is quite sketchy, it must be said, through into the middle of the week. It looks as though low pressure rotates away just back southwards, allows the airflow to remain generally as an easterly, looking as though we're seeing light winds for a few days, though not looking quite as chilly as it once was. We're still importing the air out of Scandinavia, but not quite as cold as a few indications looked a few days ago, but pressure is fairly high, so the story ongoing through midweek should see showers fade and many places seeing substantially dry weather with some bright conditions and best of sunshine and warmth, typically towards more western regions throughout the middle and latter part of next week. A reasonably promising forecast for that week after Easter. Whatever your plans, have an enjoyable Easter weekend. Keep up to date with all our forecasts for your local area on our website.